So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back. In 2011, the Mr. Tennessee Scholarship Competition crowned one of TSU's very own to be the face of education opportunities here in Nashville. Mr. Tennessee Amari McAllister is here today to tell us about the honor. Please welcome to the show, Amari McAllister. Thank you for being on the show, Amari.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
What attracted you to the Mr. Tennessee competition?
Well, actually, my first year entering Tennessee State University was in 2008, and I saw the promotion at Mount Zion during the announcement segment, and I said, that's going to be me. So when I entered, I sat out a year of school. When I came back, I said, if the opportunity comes up, that I was going to apply for it, and I did. And the whole time I said, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. At least that's what I was saying up until the pageant.
Okay. In the talent portion of the competition, what was your talent?
I sang and I did a poem.
You sang,
And
you did
it was a poem that I had written. I wrote the poem while I was sick. I had a virus and I was immobile for a day. And I felt so hopeless, like my mom wasn't there and my friends were like busy doing not being my friend stuff. So that my poem was inspired by that particular time. And there was a Kirk Franklin song that I added to it that kind of ministered to me at the time.
How long have you been singing?
Ooh, I've been singing in church since I was about 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the very first song you ever sung?
Ooh, I don't know the name of it, but it was, it came from this kids Christian CD. It was like David was a shepherd and in his hand was a sling. That's all I remember.
Okay. So how far in advance did you have to start, training or preparing for the pageant?
Ooh, the pageant was in April of last year. I started prepping for it in November. I started watching, I had to watch female pageants first because there's not too many outlets of this kind for men. And I stumbled across a pageant at one of the other universities, and I kind of picked up on some speaking techniques from that pageant, and I just merged the two. So I started in November with the whole articulation portion of it, and as it progressed, I started picking out outfits, swimwear, things of that nature.
Like, were you nervous? Like, what type of emotions were you thinking about during the whole process of the competition?
The actual day of the competition or leading up?
Leading up to it, during it?
Well, leading up to it, I was so confident. I didn't know who my competitors would be, but when I met the competition the Friday before the competition, I said, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to win this. There was a guy from University of Memphis who I said, okay, he's going to win first runner-up. Then the guy from UT Knox, I said he was going to win it overall. So I said, maybe I'll get something like best bow ties or something. So I was pretty confident until I met the competitors that Friday. But the day of the competition, I felt like, I don't know, I had no confidence at all. I had to call my grandmother. My mom's at work. So I was like, it seemed like everything was going wrong. But, I mean, to God be the glory.
Did you form any other relationships with the other contestants?
I did. The pageant is coming around again in August this year, and one of the competitors, the first runner-up from University of Memphis, he has a few guys who's interested, and we kind of talk back and forth. He gives me ideas. He actually inspires me on Facebook. I read a lot of his posts, and they're very inspirational. And I make sure I let him know. So, yeah, I do.
How do you feel about pageants in general? Do you think they're beneficial?
Of course pageants are beneficial. It gives, especially for young men, and I hate that there's not too many outlets for young men to do these types of things, because it gives you an opportunity to display not just your talents, but someone who's upright and
Right.
morally standing, and it gives you a chance to display who you are as an individual and kind of what sets you apart from, you know, the societal norms.
What were you like growing up?
A loser.
Shy. A loser.
Like right now I'm wearing Ray-Bans, but I had on these like big bifocals with the little, I don't know what it's called, but they were big, thick Coke bottle. I was 4 eyes. I was always watching TV like this.
Aw.
So I was kind of the loser. Not the loser. That's kind of exaggerated.
You're saying you're more shy, timid.
I wasn't shy. I was never shy. I can never remember a part of my life where I was shy per se. But I was always outgoing. I was always into music. I was always interested in instruments. My first instrument was the violin.
Oh,
I
okay.
played the violin from 3rd to 4th grade. Then I switched to saxophone in middle school because they didn't have a strings program. And I played saxophone up until my 11th grade year of high school.
What are a few goals that you're still trying to accomplish?
I make it a personal goal to be better than the person I was yesterday. There, of course, as a person, you have your weaknesses. I want to bring my weaknesses up to a point to where they're not, I know they can't be full strengths, but at least something I could pull on when I need them. I try to be an overall, you know, upstanding citizen. I try to treat people as fairly as possible. So in that personal respect, I try to do the best I can. And personal goals as far as, I guess, career-wise, I really want to go to UCLA. I don't want to start working until I get my PhD.
Right.
So hopefully I can get in UCLA or UC San Francisco, write a book, possibly, urban, contemporary fiction.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us on the show, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Before closing out the eye, we would like to take a moment and recognize some of the music's most legendary icons who, unfortunately, said goodbye to us at the beginning of 2012. Soul Train founder and music industry legend Dawn Cornelius. The woman with a voice of an angel who was responsible for the hit I Will Always Love You. And finally, a lady with one of the most classic voices of all time who will always be remembered for her song, At Last, Etta James. You will always be remembered. Closing out the eye will be TSU forensics team member and champion Lanielle Madden with an excerpt from her award-winning program of oral interpretation piece, Lanielle Madden.
Self-conscious emotions, such as embarrassment and pride, are emotions that relate to our sense of self and how others react to us. In fact, our everyday lives are often infused with reactions from others that give us strong feelings of mastery and achievement or frustration and failure. So much so that some scholars argue that we are always in some state of embarrassment and pride. Yet, exposing oneself to constant embarrassment at the hands of others, such as our family for instance, strongly correlates with our love for that family member and the desire of transformation for that person. Saving CC Honeycutt by Beth Hoffman. I began to notice my mother walking to Goodwill almost every day, buying more and more of these dresses. It was like the more she wore the dresses, the more of a spectacle she became. You know, even the nicest of neighbors couldn't stop themselves from laughing as she paraded down the street. You know, who needed a TV with a mother like mine? I didn't know what was wrong with her. But I began to notice her moods were becoming something like a yo-yo. Like 1 minute she'd be screaming and hollering and throwing everything in sight, and then the next, she'd be as calm as a glass of water. She became so unpredictable that I didn't know what to expect when I came home from school. You know, a plate of cookies, or my mother sitting in a corner crying and rocking back and forth. I just knew other mothers in the town did not act that way. And the worst part came when I was only 9. And whoever said things can change in the blink of an eye, sure wasn't lying. 3 eyewitnesses told the police the exact same thing. That the Big Cow ice cream truck had came down the hill so hard and so fast that it knocked my mother clean right out of her bright orange shoes.